Yes. All right. Good evening, gentlemen. It's only two of you are in class right away, but we won't wait any longer. I think we will start. If anybody is coming in, they will join us. Let me share my screen so that we'll go on and begin to take a look at the slide. Now, how many of you have actually worked on how many of you have gone through the videos? I put in the part 2 of the video to this evening. How many of you have gone through the video?
I have not, sir. The video is not very clear on my gadget.
What gadget are you using?
I use Android phone.
Android. There's no reason why your phone cannot play that thing. Murphy, you have muted yourself. I can't hear you. Did you go through the video?
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Did you go through the video?
Yes, sir. I went through it, even though it was very complicated.
It's very complicated. You have gone to 16, Murphy, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
So that thing should not be complicated for you.
Yes,
Mr. Moses. Mr. Moses. Hello. Okay. All right. Maybe when we are going through this, I will be walking through my PowerPoint. Maybe when we are going through this, we'll be able to work on it together.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry. Somebody is gone out of here. Adele is gone out of class. Okay. Maybe he's struggling with his slide. Okay, play from start.
Bluetooth mode.
Somebody is making noise there. Okay, the objectives of the class, like I said, is one, you should be able to explain what participles are by the time we finish the class.
Yes, sir.
You should be able to write the participles in the various forms. In other words, in the present, in the aorist, in the perfect, and in the future.
Yes, sir.
Then you should also be able to discuss the characteristics of participles. In other words, what are those things that set participles aside as what makes participles to be unique? And then you should be able to identify the function of the participle within a sentence.
Yes, sir.
If I give you an example of a sentence in the picture, you should be able to tell me the function of that participle within that sentence. Okay. All right, let's begin by looking at the definition of participles. Now, participles are verb forms. Do you understand that clearly?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Participles are verb forms.
Yes, sir.
However, they can be used as an adjective.
Yes, sir.
Now, what do you remember about adjectives?
Adjectives, they qualify a noun.
Okay, so if there is any group of words that qualify a noun, what are they supposed to be?
A group of words.
Any word that qualifies a noun under normal condition is also what?
An adjective, sir.
Yeah, technically it's an adjective. But
Yes,
what
sir.
words can qualify a noun? Okay, let me explain very well. Under
Yes,
normal condition, it is only noun form words that can work as adjectives. But participle are verbs.
Yes, sir.
also work as adjectives. So that means that participles have the ability of working as a verb and at the same time as a noun.
Wow.
So that is what makes participle to be very, very enigmatic.
Wow.
Are you getting it now? So
Yes,
in fact,
sir.
the definition will say that participles are verbal nouns.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so to create verbs tense. So also, they can also work as verbs because originally they are created from verbs.
Yes, sir.
So they can also be used to create the passive voice. Remember the passive voice? That is the voice where the subject receives the action.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
So these are the three main functions of the participle. Now, in English language, any word that you see ending in ing is usually a participle.
Yes, sir.
For example, tell is a verb,
Yes, sir.
but telling may be a participle.
Yes, sir.
It's all right. Now let's go on. Now, participles are words derived from verbs that can function as adjectives or as part of verb phrases to create verb tenses. This is another definition. So you see that this is clearer. They are words there from verbs. They can function as adjectives or parts of verb phrases to create verb tenses.
Wow.
Now,
Yes, sir.
so this should prepare your mind for the kind of construction we are dealing with. It's a very powerful construction.
Yes, sir.
Participle in Koine Greek. Now, the participle is very important. It is a very important sentence element in Koine Greek. Now, that's by Dana and book The Root on Greek Grammar.
Yes, sir.
And what they said, there are few languages which have equaled the Greek in the abundance and variety of its use of the participle. And certainly, none has surpassed it. Now, can you interpret what that means?
It means that in the Greek language is that language which has the most amount of participles than any other one.
Yes, it has the most, it is the language that uses most participle than
Yes,
any
sir.
other language in the world.
Yes, sir. Wow.
An ancient grammarian says Greek has been called a participle-loving language.
Wow.
You see how interesting that is.
Yes, sir.
Nearly
Wow.
a third of Greek verbal nouns forms are participles. In other words, 1/3 of Greek verb forms are participles.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this sentence is the complete of the sentence started by Dana.
Yes, sir.
He said, this word of significance, which belonged to the Greek participle, at the zenith of its development, lies undiminished before the student of the New Testament and becomes a valuable asset in interpretation when adequately comprehended. Now, what they are trying to say is that if you understand participles adequately,
Yes,
you
sir.
are going to have a very good skill in interpreting the New Testament.
Wow.
Okay.
When you look at the New Testament, you will see beautiful usages of participles.
Okay.
Wow.
Hardly can you read a chapter of the Greek New Testament without coming across very many participles.
Jesus.
Okay, sir.
So that's why I always tell my students, make sure you master the participles because they hold the key to your mastery of your Greek New Testament.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Wow.
Okay. Now, let me put some explanations. Participles can be used as an adjective. In other words, it can be used to modify a noun. It can be used as substantive. Now, what do you mean by, what do you understand by my use of the word substantive?
To replace a noun.
Yeah, to replace a noun. But actually, it's not just replacing a noun. It
Yes,
is
sir.
functioning as the subject of a sentence or a phrase.
Wow.
Okay.
Which is normally a function of a noun.
Jesus Christ.
3, it can also be used as an adverb. Now, what is the function of an adverb? An adverb qualifies the verb. I hope you know that. By its adverb, it tells us more about the verb.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, participles can function as adjectives, can function as substantives, can function as adverbs. So, that is how complex participles are. Now, let's look at these examples. In Hebrews chapter 10, verse 37, we have this sentence. O erkumenos, ekai, kai u chronisai. Now, I have the phrase in bold is the participle.
Yes, sir.
So, what are you? This is O erkumenos. Now, this O, what is it?
D.
D.
Definite article, D.
Article. And remember, it is only nouns that carries definite article.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So, for erkomenos to carry a definite article, it means this participle is functioning as a noun.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, it's not just functioning as a noun, it is the
Substantive.
substantive of this phrase.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
the participle, can any one of you remember the root verb that this participle comes from? Erkomenos.
Echo.
Oh, not echo.
Echo man? No.
You are getting close. Ekomen is not the root, but you are close to it. Ekomen is the plural first person form of that verb. Give me the first person. If ekomen is the first plural, what is the first person?
Echo. No.
Oh, ekomai.
Echo man.
I is a deponent verb, which means I come. So the participle form is ergo. If you look at it, if we remove menos, which is your sign of the participle, you said ekomen, and I said ekomen is first person plural, which is we are coming. So remove ekomen, put your first person singular. So it's just as easy as to do. It's a straightforward thing. So you should be and now translating that participle, we now have the one coming.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the one coming, if you look at the translation, is the subject of this sentence. O erkomenos ekai kai u chronisai. The one coming will come and not delay. Now the second sentence is, or the second phrase is from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15. Alethiontes de en agape. Alethiontes, and again, alethiontes is your participle. Now, remember, when you see alethi, that tells you
Aletheia.
aletheia, which is your noun form for what?
Yes, sir.
For truth.
Truth. Yes, sir.
Truth.
Alethiontes is your participle now says speaking truth.
Wow.
So, but speaking truth. So it is modifying speaking. What is to be spoken? So in this phrase, it is functioning as an adverb.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Let me stop sharing for now. Do we have questions?
Oh my God.
Yes.
All right.
Hello, sir. Question,
Yes,
sir.
I'm listening to you.
The functioning of the participle as a substantive,
Yes.
you specifically said it serves as the subject of the sentence.
Yes.
Could there be occasions when it will serve as the object of the sentence?
It can serve as the object of a verb, but in most cases, it will not serve as the object of the main verb, because apart from participle, most sentences will still have their main verb.
For example, if somebody is constructing a sentence like he hates going there.
Okay, let's say he hates going there. Okay.
Going there now serves as, appears like a subject to the verb hate.
That's exactly what I'm saying. If you look at the sentence, he hates going there, he becomes your subject. Hate becomes your main verb.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Going is your participle, and there is your direct object for hate.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So you see the analysis. So
Yes,
going there, going in that place is actually functioning as an adverb, telling us the manner or what the person hates. It's telling us what is hated.
Yes, sir.
Hate is the verb. So it's not functioning as object to hate. It's only a description of what is hated.
Yes, sir.
Clear, sir.
It's clear now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go on. Let me share my screen again so that we could go back to my PowerPoint. Now we are now going to look at the forms of the participle.
Yes, sir.
Now, the easiest way to learn writing the participles is to first learn the I mean form of the verb. Okay? The I mean form of the verb.
Yes, sir.
The I mean form of the participles, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you remember what I mean is?
Be.
Your verb to be, not just be.
To be.
So because I mean covers am,
Yes,
is, was,
yeah,
were, are. Now, when you look at these forms of the participle, it's going to be easy for you, at least to understand let me say, at least to understand the present form of the participle. So let's look at the present active participle of I need. Now remember,
Yes,
we are in participle. The past participle will function as a noun it will have gender, it will have number, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And it will have case.
Yes.
So that is why we are now declining it as if we are declining a noun. So own is your first person nominative, masculine. Usi is the feminine. On is the neuter. In the genitive, you now have utos, usays, and then utos. Remember that most time masculine and neuter look alike, except maybe nominative and accusative.
Yes, sir.
Now, dative now have unti, use, and remember that in the dative, your eta will carry the iota subscript.
Yes, sir.
And then
Yes, sir.
on.
Excuse me.
Again, you have in the accusative, you have onta, usan, and on. Now, in the plural, ontes, usai, onta, genitive, ontone, uson, ontone, dative, usi, usai, usi, and then accusative, ontas, usas, onta. Now, if you can memorize this,
Yes, sir.
it's going to be easy for you to get the present active participle of any word. Because the IME form of the word actually form the ending of the present active participles.
Wow.
So let us look at the present active participle of luo. So do you see your own, will see, on? Remember
Yes,
that whoa, lu is your stem.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just get to the stem of a word and then put in the ending of I need participle. So luon, luosi, luon, but watch the accent in neuter. You know that it is no longer the acute accent. It's
Circumflex.
Okay, that's a neuter nominative and neuter accusative, which will always be identical.
Yes, sir.
Luontos, luoses, luontos, luonti, luose, luonti, luonta, luosan, luon. And the plural, luontes, luosai, luonta, luonton, luonson, luonton, luosi, luosais, luosi, luontas, luosas, luonta. Now, okay, let me leave this. Murphy,
Sir?
let me give you a Greek, a word in Greek in the present active form. And then you begin to tell me how it will read in the masculine alone as participle.
Yeah.
Grapho.
Graphone.
You should be reading that thing. You should not be thinking. The paradigm is right before you.
Graphone.
Yes.
Graphontos.
Good.
Graphonti.
Good.
Graphonta.
Good.
Graphontes.
Good.
Graphonton.
Yes.
Graphosi.
Good.
Graphontas.
Do you see how simple it is?
Yes.
Very, very simple. Reverend Oladapo.
Yes, sir.
Pick a Greek word for yourself in the present active indicative and give us the feminine form?
Let me take Lego.
Okay, Lego. Go on.
Legusi.
Legacy.
Leguses.
Legacies.
Leguse.
Legacy.
Legusan.
Legusan.
Legusai, the plural now.
Yeah, I know. Go on. Legusai.
Leguson.
Leguson.
Legusais.
Legusais.
Legusas.
Legusas. So easy. Why are you saying?
Jesus.
Now, I always say the only thing Greek needs is consistency.
Yes, sir.
If you keep on doing it, writing these things, even nobody is giving you a test, very soon it becomes part of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's go into the functions of the participle.
Yes, sir.
Now, the verbal function of the participle has to be noted in relation with the voice. Now remember, we have three voices here: the active voice, the middle voice, and the passive voice. And the tense, which has to do with the kind of action. So it's important. So the function of the participle will come out more in the voice and the tense and the kind of the action. Now, in all the Greek tenses, all has participles: the present, the aorist, the future, and the perfect. They all have participle forms.
Wow.
Now, the present participle indicates continuous action. Remember that the present tense always indicates continuous action. So also the present participle indicates continuous action, while the aorist participle indicates punctiliar action. You remember what punctiliar action is? Do you remember what punctiliar action is?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
What?
One-time action.
One-time action, an action that occurred only once. Good. Now, you have to know that the time of action in participle is indicated in relationship to the action of the main verb. Remember, I have told you that the participle will never be the main verb of your sentence.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
So, the time of action of the participle is always in relation to the action of the main verb. So, take note of the following, please.
Yes, sir.
When you see an aorist participle, now let me, for remembrance sake or for memory's sake, what does the aorist tense stands for?
An action in the past.
An action in the past. So when you see an aorist participle, it means the action of the participle is antecedent to the action of the main verb. What does that tell you?
It has finished. It has been executed before.
It has been executed before the action of the main verb. That is it. Because aorist is past. So take note of that.
Yes,
All these
sir.
are things that are necessary for interpretation and translation.
Yes, sir.
Now, the present participle indicates action that is contemporaneous with the action of the main verb. What does that tell you?
Simultaneous action.
Simultaneous action. So the participle action and the action of the main verb is going on at the same time.
Yes, sir.
Now, the future participle indicates an action subsequent to the action of the main verb.
Before it happens.
No. Be careful.
Subsequent.
Subsequent.
After it happens.
After the action of the main verb. Now, the perfect participle indicates an action that has become a state of being. So, you must get all this in your understanding so that
Yes,
they
sir.
will help you in your translation. Now,
Yes,
let
sir.
us look at this. Examples. Look at sentence 1. Murphy, read sentence
Sir?
1. Read sentence 1.
Legon tauta o anthropos blepai ton.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
It looks as if I've committed an error. I have to go back. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Read.
Legon tauta o anthropos blepai ton kurion.
Good. So, Legon, Reverend Ladapo,
Yes, sir.
this is your Legon that you chose the other time.
Yes, sir.
So, can you translate? Okay, read the translation and then we'll do the analysis together later.
While saying these things, the man sees the Lord.
Good. Now, your Legon is a present participle, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
because it is present, your main verb is what? Blepai.
Blepai. Oh, blepai.
Blepai. That's your main verb, which
Yes,
means.
Yes, sir.
So now look at the translation. While saying these things, or if I'm going to put a published English, as, okay, I cannot use that. I have to say while saying. I wanted to say as he was saying. Yeah, I can still use it because legon is masculine form, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let me take it as it's not really the substantive here because we have the main subject or anthropos. Now, as he was saying these things, the man sees the Lord. Will you see what is going on? It means that the saying and the seeing are going on at the same time.
Yes, sir.
While
Contemporaneous.
he sees.
Yes, sir.
So a present participle will give us contemporaneous action.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's look at the second sentence. Didaskomenos, upotu kurio, or anthropos, lambanai, ten, alethian. Okay, I think Reverend Ayodele, are you there? Okay, you have muted yourself. Can you unmute yourself, please, Reverend Ayodele? All right, let's see the translations here.
Yes, sir.
While being taught by the Lord, the man receives the truth. So in other words, the teaching and the receiving goes on at the same time. Another way you can write that is, as the man is being taught by the Lord, he receives the truth. Now, the first sentence illustrates one of the characteristics of a participle, the ability to carry a direct object. So let's look at that. In the construction, tauta is the accusative, and that means tauta is the direct object of legon. Meanwhile, the direct object of the main verb itself is ton kurion, which is the direct object of blepai. I hope you see the clarity.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything confusing you?
No, sir.
Tauta is in the accusative, ton kurion is in the accusative. But
Yes,
tauta is accusative to participle, ton kurion is accusative to blepai. All
yes,
right.
sir.
So the participle can also function as an adverbial modifier. In other words, it modifies a verb. And the sentence example we have here is Erkomenoi ekeroson to evangelion. And remember, Erkomenoi is from Ekumai, going. As they were going, they were preaching the gospel, which means they are going and the preaching is going on at the same time. So, in this case, the participle modifies the verb and tells when they were preaching. As an adverbial modifier, the participle may tell when, how, why, on what occasion, by what means, or under what circumstance an action took place. This function will be studied in greater details when we study subordinate clauses. Again, let me stop sharing because this is where I cut my lesson to bring us to part 2. So
Yes,
let
sir.
me stop sharing. Let's take questions. Mr. Moses, unmute yourself. How are you today? Mr. Ayodele, can you hear me? You have to unmute yourself. We cannot hear you. All right. So, do we have any question? Okay, Mr. Ayodele, how are you, sir? I see you are trying to bring your audio now. Okay, do we have any? Okay. Looks as if your network is very bad. Okay, Murphy has disappeared. Anyway, we will come back. All right, do we have any question or we can go on?
No question, sir.
Reverend Ladapo, any question?
No question, sir. I'm following. Hello, sir. What's the law? Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
I'm sorry for that each. My internet just went off. I have to switch over to MTN, which unfortunately does not have much data to sustain. But fortunately, this went off at a very good time when we are supposed to end the class for today. So therefore, if there are no questions, we'll end the class. We'll come back to do the part 2 of our class tomorrow at 8 p.m. So please don't let us be late. I will formally send the link either tonight or tomorrow morning. So if we have any question?
No questions, sir. Thank you, sir, for the 8 p.m. class, sir. The 8 p.m. is more convenient, sir. We appreciate it.
Okay, good.